Let's now hop on to the campaign trail now. And on the campaign trail today, the NDC has launched the campaign of its parliamentary candidates for the Bole constituency, Yusuf Suleimani. The launch was held at the RC Park and was well attended by hundreds of party faithful. The MP aspirant also enjoyed the patronage of some party bigwigs, including the Deputy Minister for Power, John Jinapo, who told the teeming crowd that the NDC is poised to win this year's elections due to achievements it has chalked over the past 4 years. There are more jabs in there in this report by Rafiq Salam.
Thousands of supporters of the National Democratic Congress NDC in the Bole constituency of the Northern Region converged at the Bole RC Park for the campaign launch of the party's parliamentary candidate for the area, Yusuf Suleimani. The mammoth rally was attended by several bigwigs of the party, mostly from the northern belt of the country, including the National Women's Organizer, Zinabu Joyce Mahama, Food and Agriculture Minister, Mohamed Lemuna Muniru, and Deputy Minister for Energy, Abdullahi John Jinapo. Abdullahi John Jinapo, who is also the NDC parliamentary candidate for Yape Kosoko, told the NDC supporters that all over the country, there are signs that showed that President Mahama will be retained in power and is therefore incumbent for his kinsmen to show the way by voting massively for the party and its parliamentary candidate. He then took a jab at the MPP, saying they will not engage them in the politics of insults or calipo drinking, but will focus on the development needs of the people where the MPP is found wanting.
We in the NDC, we would not engage in the politics of insult. We would not engage in the politics of drinking calipo. No. Our record stands for us, and our record is unmatched. Our record is unparalleled. If you take electrification, if you take roads, if you take water, if you take housing, any other thing you take, the MPP does not compare to us in any way. And so we are sure that come December 7th, John Dramani Mahama, the man from Bola, the Bola showboy, the Bola darling, he would win the elections 100%, and we are confident about that.
Deputy General Secretary of the NDC in charge of operations, George Lawson, called on Ghanaians not to be deceived by the juicy promises of the MPP, which even utopian societies never had.
They said they will build model schools in every district. Then we have 110 districts. They never built a handcook. They said they were going to elect DC. They never did it. They said they were going to build polytechnics in all the districts. They never did it. Today they are promising you one town, one village. This is laughable. It is not attainable. It is not realistic. Again, they are promising you one district, one factory. It is not possible. The most industrialized country in the world, the United States of America, do not have one district, one factory. And the most industrialized country in Africa, that is South Africa, do not also have one district, one factory. It is not feasible.
NDC parliamentary candidate for Bole, Yusuf Suleimani, crowned the day by stating that victory already was on hand in the December polls, but was going to ensure that the number of spoiled or rejected ballots are reduced in order to increase the victory margin.
Ballot papers, ballot spoilage. We are going to address the issue. After 7th December, if you still see a lot of papers rejected, then I have failed you. Mark my words. I have set a target of 85%, and inshallah, we will achieve it.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Bole.
Now, from the Upper West region, let's cross over to the Volta region, where Nana Akufo-Addo has been busy. In fact, he's looking to get some more votes in that region and improve on his past performance from 2012 and in 2008. Well, he's been speaking about that issue of him begging for votes. This is what he had to say for himself on that.
2008, I almost made it. In 2012, once again, I also almost made it. This is my third attempt at the presidency of Ghana. I want the support of the people of Bako, of Volta. President Mahama says that I should stop begging the people of Ghana to put me in office. I want him to listen to me today as I speak here in Bako. I am not going to stop today. I'm not going to stop tomorrow.
Now, that's on the issue of begging for votes, but he's also spent some time to critically analyze the state of the National Health Insurance Scheme.
Free senior high school education is not the future of the educational policy of America. So, and a teacher training, the nursing training allowances that were paid in perforce time are going to be restored for the teacher trainees and the nursing staff. One district, one factory. One district, one factory policy is going to work. South Africa is the northern part of Ghana, northern region. The survival of the northern part, Ahakaho. We're going to put irrigation systems in every village, one dam, Makato, and Usoba, Yababa here, to boost our agriculture. Ghana Sikaroso. Yeah, Chewon Kaya. And pass on the channels and time buffer. If you had the football air bar, and then there's a kind of a buffer. Every constituency, 275 constituencies from the central government budget. Every year, $1 million equivalent. You didn't buy them about the salt, and you remember that to be a
So that's Ananado in the Volta region. But with 42 days to go to election 2016, the push for millions of votes by both President John Mahama and Nana Akufo-Addo is gradually reaching red-hot levels as both candidates for the NPP and the NDC have now taken to chipping votes from each other's strongholds. Let's begin from the Volta region. We can get an update on where Nana is right now from Fred Kwame Asare. He's our man following him this afternoon. Fred, good afternoon to you. We know he's been to Dambai, and there was some issue in Katakrachi with the ferry. Has that been settled yet? Fred, good afternoon to you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes. Where are you right now with Nana Akufo-Addo?
Nana Akufo-Addo just got to Brorai in the Krachi in Chumuru constituency of the Volta region. Early on, he addressed a rally at Dambai where he spoke to citizen people of Dambai in the Krachi East constituency. But then, on his way to Krachi in Chumuru and Krachi West, there was a temporary hold-up at the river bank at Dambai, where we were told there were some challenges that is preventing the ferry from coming from the Krachi side to the Dambai side. We were told that while a truck loaded with yam was trying to go on board the ferry, it skipped off the ferry and then fell into the water, submerged into the water. So some part of the truck was blocking the ferry from moving. So they had to employ the services of some residents around to help offload the yam and then tow the truck off the way for the ferry to move. So as we speak, the ferry came to convey the team to Borai, and we are currently at Borai. Nanado would speak to the citizen people here, and then he is in the palace of Nana Bonja of the Borai traditional area. So from here, we'll head to Chinderi and then head back to the Karachi West constituency, that is Kete-Karachi, to round the day up.
Okay. Now, Fred, that's for what he will be up to today, but let's briefly talk about the MPP in the Volta region and what they seek to do with their own targets for this election. We're talking 30%. Do we know what seats they are targeting in the 26 up for grabs?
The NPP, ahead of the 2016 general election, is or has a target of 30% of total votes, and then to win 3 seats. They label, or they call it Agenda 330, where they want to win 3 seats in the Volta region and then attain about 30% of total votes in the region. I spoke to some of the executives and they told me that the measures or their tactics they are employing is to go to house, educate the youth in the area or in the region on their livelihood. They ask them, they are comparing their life now during the 8 years of the NPP region and to that of the Kufuor region, which is better. And then some of them told me that, well, the residents or the youth agreed that when Kufuor, during the NPP region, Kufuor was governing the country, there was much money and then there were jobs in the country for them. But then now the NDC regime, there is no job, and they don't have money in their pockets, and then they are dying. So they agreed that they will vote for the NPP. And then they also educated them that after voting, they should make sure they protect the ballot box. They shouldn't just go home and then go and relax and wait for the results. They should make sure they police the ballot box so that whatever is in the ballot box, whatever votes that they've given to the NPP wouldn't be tampered with. So generally, that is what the executive have been telling me. But
you mentioned 3 seats here, Fred. Sorry, Fred, if you can hear me.
Constituencies that they want to win, or the seats of the constituencies that they want to win in Parliament. They just said in general that they are targeting 3 seats in the region.
Fred, for the 3 seats you speak of, do you know which seats they are? It seems we've lost Fred there on the line. We'll try and bring him back and get some more details. But Malik Abbas Dabu is deputy head of our political desk here. He's joining me in the studio. As I mentioned all the time, he eats, breathes, and sleeps politics every single day. Malik, thank you for joining us.
Give me a bad name.
No, it is a good thing that you are the definition of politics. You read, understand, and know how to analyze it. That's why you are part of the election headquarters, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Exactly. So,
but I don't breathe, sleep, eat politics.
So what do you do?
I talk politics.
You eat and talk
sometimes.
That's fine. We'll head to the Eastern region in just a moment, but let's briefly analyze the Volta regional situation with the targets being set by the NPP in that region. Malik, per past performances, is a 30% target of votes in the Volta region achievable for the NPP?
Francis, it's difficult to convince anyone who follows the politics in that region that this is a feasible objective that the NPP has set itself. Because if you look at their electoral performances in that region in the past 3 elections alone, in 2001, John Kufuor, who was the NPP's presidential candidate, obtained 13% of the total valid votes cast in that region. And then in 2008, his tenure had come to an end. Then enters Nane Akufo-Addo. He obtained 15% of the total votes. He actually did better than Kufuor. And Kufuor actually did better in 2004 than the party did in 2000. So Akufo-Addo obtains 15% of the total valid votes cast. Then in 2012, the same Akufo-Addo goes, and then he obtains 12.93, almost 13%, which was a poorer performance compared to his own performance in the
2% reduction comparatively.
Absolutely, in the 2004 elections, 2008 elections. So looking at those figures, oscillating between 13%, 15%, going back to 13%, it's difficult to convince anyone that you can catapult yourself from 13% to 30%, especially in a region which has been your Waterloo.
More than double. They talk of 30%, but there's a sub-headline there of 3 seats in the Volta region.
Yes, they've always had 1 seat in the northern Volta area. There's always 1 seat that they consistently win in the Nkwanta areas there. And that is because if you look at that area, you have a large settlements of Akans in that area. So that's why you tend to find that they win in that area. Beyond that, it's difficult to see them win any really significant number of seats in that region. 13% they may go up, but 30%, that doesn't sound very feasible.
Okay, that's for the MPP picture in the Volta region. Let's briefly go to the Eastern region. That's where the president, John Mahama, is spending some time to also chip away some votes of the MPP in that region. You all know past performances that it's a region with 33 seats. The MPP currently holds 26. The NDC holds 7 as we speak. But let's find out what the president has been talking about today in that region. We can get more from Kofi Siao, who's joining us online. He's following the president. Kofi, good afternoon to you. Where's the president now, and what's he been talking about?
Well, currently the president is in Takoradi. You can hear from the background, he is speaking now, and he's here to commission one of the community senior high schools in the Eastern region. First, he was in Pabanyanwa, where he commissioned the first one early this year, and currently he is in Takoradi, just as I said. And after he's spoken, he's going to cut the cake for the inauguration of the community senior high school in Takoradi. So I should say that it's a very colorful ceremony. There are a lot of people here, and to their delight, they are cheering up the president and asking for more from the president.
Okay.
Earlier on, the chief of Takoradi, Osaberima Ousu, in the and he revealed that, in fact, the founder of the NDC, that is President Jerry John Rawlings, was born right here in Takoradi in the Denchambua district. His father was working here, so it is not coming as a surprise to them that the NDC has put up this beautiful building here. And it comes to confirm that the NDC is actually with the people of Takoradi. So in a nutshell, it's been a very colorful ceremony, and people are very happy about what is happening here.
Okay.
So currently, as I speak, the president is speaking.
Okay, but Kofi, you just mentioned that you are where? Is it Takoradi you're saying? Takoradi, okay.
Yeah.
Got me a little confused, but that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But Kofi, let's briefly talk about the plan of the NDC in that region. They are looking to achieve agenda 50-50. That's half of votes from that region and seats as well in Eastern region. What has been some of the seats in question that they are targeting this time around to make this target possible?
Well, the NDC said that comparatively, they have done a lot for the people of the region than what their political opponents have done. They, for instance, talked about the construction of the community-based senior high school, the construction of roads all over the place. They also talked about the putting up of markets and a whole lot of things. So they believe that in terms of development, they have done a lot than what the NPP has done. So they are claiming for most of the votes in the region, and that is what they've been telling the electorate. But as to whether that is going to materialize in the election, that is another thing altogether.
Okay, Kofi, I'm asking specifically about the constituencies in question that the party is seeking to win to achieve the 50-50 target.
Francis, I can't hear you well, but
I'm asking of the seats, the constituency seats that we are targeting in the Eastern region. I'm talking about the NDC.
7 of them. That is what the NDC says. They are targeting to whom? They are targeting to the man that used to be their seat. They are targeting to whom, just as I said before, and a lot of them, about 7 of them, that is what the NDC said. And they are saying that some of these seats used to be their own, but it actually fell in the hands of the NDC. So now that the 2016 election is very near, they believe that they're going to win the election with what they have done for the people of the Eastern region. That is their conviction.
Okay, now the president is speaking there. We can listen to him and find out what he's talking about to the people.
ayo omabrabo yi enti emi de pa se ene yaba yebebie sa school yi eno ne friend no changing lives and na sɛ yɛka sɛ changing lives and ɛyɛ adeɛ a ɛsesa nipa abrabɔ mprɛn pii no womfa nipa pii nhyɛ sɛ nipa abrabɔ no ɛsesa sɛ skuli ɛyɛ mpuntuo ne krase ɛyɛ mpuntuo ma ne district ma ne man nso ka wakan ɛnyɛ sika nso ɛsom bo kyɛn sika na sɛ yɛnka sɛ yɛnnua ɛma yi ɔmo wie GHS a GHS 3 15 years ne wɔwie sɛ ɔtoa so kɔ senior high 16 ɛsɛ 18 free mu 18 a na ɛkyɛ sɛ 18 wɔduru age of maturity ntumi to aba na sɛ oduru GHS 3 15 years na ofiri school mu a na wɔnya ntoa so a na ɛkyɛ sɛ na additional second loss ahwɛ yi a na bibi akoto si na wafa yɛ fun anaasɛ bibi na ɛkyɛ sɛ ne life asɛe ano no anaasɛ ɔtena fie na ɔmo awofo nhu nea ɔyɛ no ɔnam hɔ kɔ a wobɛhu ne akye no ne yɛde no akɔhyɛ awareɛ mu anaa bibi na ɛkyɛ sɛ asa no yɛmma mmaa no yɛma wɔn paa nti ebie mepɛ sɛ mehu sɛ enrollment no mmaa ne sɛ mmarima no mpo ɛwɔ saa school mu ha nea mede bɛka ho ɛne sɛ Nana Takrase hene prempii sei na yɛafa no sɛ aban dea yɛnhwɛ na yɛdea anaasɛ ɛbɛsi school no a ka ne sɛ saa school yi a yɛsi ɛwɔ mu sɛ ɛyɛ aban school ɛyɛ aban na ɛsiiɛ Takrase for dea ɛyɛ mmoa mo dea nti mode mo ani ɛkɔ school no ho na sɛ wohwɛ BEC de ɛwɔ West African Secondary School certificate exam ɛba na wotumi hu sɛ school na yɛnte ɔmudin da ɔmungye wotumi hu sɛ nkwadaa no dodoɔ no tumi pase na wahu school kane na agye din pa na nkwadaa no dodoɔ no ntumi mpa yɛahwɛ sɛ ɛdɛn na wohwɛ school a ɛngye din a ɛnɛ nkwadaa no yɛ adeɛ ɔmo yɛ adeɛ no ɛgyina ɛho mmɔden a ɔmo bɔ na ɛfa nso gyina sɛ community wɔ no anaa kuro na school no wɔ no ahemfo ɛde ɔmo ani asi school no so a ɛkyɛ sɛ ɔmo hwɛ nea ɛkɔ so wɔ hɔ sɛ nneɛma bi tosi wɔ hɔ a PTA som na ɔmo ahwɛ na ɔmo asi nkwadaa no nkɔ school a na ɔmo akɔ school sɛ ɔhwɛ wotumi hu sɛ afei saa school no ɔmo ahyɛ ase ɛyɛ agya ama teacher school yɛnsi hɔ yɛnkɔhwɛ nea ɛkɔ so wɔ hɔ wobɛhu a na ɔmo so ɔmo adesua no na ɛba n'akyi na ɛsan akyi nti na ebie ɛwɔ sɛ we na wo make sure say head teacher ni teacher for adwuma a yɛde ahyɛ ɔmo nsa omo yesa adwuma no man kwada ne sua nyina ebi wo school yi mu rooms there was laboratory biology laboratory, chemistry, physics, ICT laboratory in now. Your library, assembly hall. Now more offices, teachers were more headmaster one. Your washroom 16. At the school bus and so at the no be best here. Say go come bus ne yeah kiss na shamonsa. Enti bibie ni ho a ekire se enkwa omunya omobon omo homoden. Enti na sa schools here friend E-blocks.
Right, so that's the President John Mahama speaking at Takrasi, commissioning the Community Day Senior High School in the Eastern Region. We'll bring you more on what he's had to tell the people there as he commissions a school for them to be populated so they can get access to secondary education. Malik Abbas, that we still with me in the studio, doing some analysis of the Eastern Region politics for both the NDC and the MPP. Malik, NDC's Agenda 50-50 is on course. Is it achievable?
I don't see it happening. And my reason simply is if you look at also the NDC's performance in this region over the last three elections, it doesn't look like they can achieve 50-50. Of course, their share of votes have been going up because in 2004, their share of votes was 38% of the total valid votes cast. In 2008, they upped that to 41, which was 3% increase. And then in 2012, they went up to 42%. So in 2012, it was just 1 percentage point increase over the 2008 election results. Now, if you increase by 3% and by 1% in subsequent elections, it will be difficult to move from 42 to 50%. That means you want to jump by 8 percentage points. And the last three election results show us that the best they did was between 2004 and 2008. And you know 2008, a certain wind of change was blowing. That was why NDC in opposition won the election. So, and after they won the election, in 2012, the margin by which they actually performed in terms of improving over the last election decreased because they did just 1 percentage points, increasing from 41% to 42%. To now want to extend it to 50% by 8 percentage points, that looks very difficult. Just as the MPP's the MPP's objective to also increase their share of votes from what it is currently from 56%. They want to increase it from 56% to 70%. That also looks less likely. And my reason is simple. From 2004, the MPP obtained, and this is one of their strongholds, they obtained 60% of the votes. In 2008, they lost 3 percentage points. They did 57%. Then in the last election in 2012, they did 56%. So if you want to go back all the way to 70%, it looks less likely. To do that would mean that the NDC has to lose by more than 10% of what they have already obtained. That looks less likely.
That means like losing one seat or 2 seats of what they have.
You can actually lose a seat because remember that the seats are, the constituency elections are first past the post.
Yes.
So you can have a constituency where NDC is getting, say, 25,000 and MPP is getting 25,001. And then you win it. So you may have won the seat, but the votes that you have used to win the seat is very, very slim. So winning the seats does not necessarily count much when it comes to looking at the total votes of a particular party in a particular region.
The last thing I want us to look at, Malik, is the matter of the candidates and where they are choosing to go to. Last week, we saw the president in the Volta region. This week, Nanado is in the Volta region. The week before, in fact, nothing with the president was in the Volta region, Nanado was in the Ashanti region. Today, the president is in the Eastern region, one of the strongest of the MPP. Is this now a battle for who gets into the stronghold, galvanizes, and then the other goes in there to try and chip down the votes ahead of the election.
In fact, remember also that even before the Nadu went to the Ashanti region, the NDC had done their campaign launch, their Ashanti regional campaign launch, where they upped their vote target from 1 million to 1.5 million.
Exactly.
So as soon as they left the region, Nadu was there. And then once Nadu was there, President John Mahama was in the Volta region. And when Mahama was leaving, Nadu went to the Volta region. I think that what they are doing is trying to undo what your opponent has done. So if your opponent goes to a particular region and does some work, you want to go and undo what he has done. If, for example, Nanado goes to the, Mahama went to the Volta region, and the MPP's hope and prayer is that this time around, the people of the Volta region do not come out as they often do in elections to vote for the NDC. If Mahama goes to the region, you have to go back and try and say, look, all the things that he has told you, some of them are not true, to try and undo some of the things that he would have done.
But does that work? Does history show us that this kind of politicking and strategy works to great effect?
Well, sometimes you want to keep your base. You want, if you don't want the people, and a lot of the time when they go and say things to the people. So you want to be sure that your message is sinking. If somebody goes to dilute your message, you want to get the opportunity to try and straighten things and say, look, some of the things that were said are not quite true. Some of the claims that were said are not quite true. This is it. So that stick to your message, and you want your message to remain fresh in the minds of the people. So that's why they will keep going to these places.
Okay, so it means from now till December 7, we should be expecting more of such, you hit there, the other goes to undo, that kind of strategy.
Absolutely, because each of them is seeking to straighten the information and the messages. Remember that they are giving contradictory messages. One party is promising something, another party is promising something else, and they are telling you what these people are promising they cannot do. The other is saying the same thing. So when you go back and make promises, they will come and try and dilute what you have said by giving out their own set of promises. So you will continue to see this happen across the country. Each time one candidate leaves a region, you will find another person going there, and then you have this cyclical way of campaigning until December 7th.
All right, thank you, Malika Bastabo, for the analysis today. Clearly, the politics in Ghana is beginning to get a lot more hotter. 42 days to go to the elections, a little over a month, some 7 weeks to go to the elections. What are you thinking about? What's inspiring your decision of who to vote for in this year's elections? Well, I'm sure that with all the messages going around, you will have that choice to make, but be sure to make a good one on December 7th. The choice is clearly yours to make on that day.